Hey, high achiever. I know you care deeply about goals, performance, and accomplishments, but you might feel stuck sometimes. And that's where I come in. My name is Charlene Jefferson, and I am a certified high performance coach, here to guide you as you create intentional habits and routines that will get you to the next level. Whether you want to grow in your career, business, relationships, health, or hobbies, I'll help you propel your goals forward through the habit of living. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about goal setting and planning. That's right. As we enter Q4 of 2022 and round towards the end of yet another year, goal setting and planning should be at the top of our minds. And if you've been setting goals and you've not been able to achieve them, maybe you need a different approach. So, how do we set goals without the stress? How do we set goals that we can actually achieve? I'll talk about that and more on this episode. I'll also share with you the 6 actions that you can take that will take the stress out of goal setting and planning so that you can get your Q4 on. So let's get into this episode, okay? Why is goal setting and planning so important anyway? Well, if you want to develop a good habit of living, goal setting and planning is key. Why is that, you ask? Because without goals, what are we working towards? Like, why in the world do you get up every morning and do what you do if you're not working towards a goal? So, goal setting essentially helps us to build new behaviors, right? It allows us to be guided in our focus and be more focused, about what we're working on and the task that we do. It also helps us to sustain a momentum in life. I talk about momentum on episode 2, and I talk also about rhythm and what that is. And rhythm is essentially the work that we're doing that allows us to get closer to our goals. So you certainly want to develop that momentum in life, and you certainly want to have that rhythm so that you're constantly getting closer to your goals. Now, this only works if you set the right goals, meaning goals that you actually want to achieve. Because if you don't want to achieve those goals, then you're not going to go all out for them, right? You're not going to want to get up in the morning and do them, not because you're lazy or anything like that, but you just don't want to achieve that outcome. So it's important to set the right goals. And that's why goal setting and planning is important, because it allows you to understand and be more clear about what it is you want to achieve. So, with that said, how do you identify the right goals? That's a great question. And actually, it's something that I work with my clients on in my one on one coaching program. We do a deep dive into what it is they actually want to achieve. And to be quite honest with you, just to share, a lot of times what I find out is that the initial goal they set is actually quite different than the goal we uncover in the session. And that is because we've dived deep. We've asked all the questions. I've asked all the questions, right, to make sure that this is actually the goal, right, they want to achieve. And so that their goals and the tasks that they set up to reach their goals are now aligned and congruent with their desired outcome. So I help move my clients closer to that and get a clearer vision of what it actually is they want to achieve through my one-on-one coaching program. And so if that's something you need, feel free to reach out for that. Now, something else you want to do and why goal setting and planning is important is because your goals should make you want to do what's necessary to get them done, right? You should want to take the steps that are needed to move you closer to achieving that goal, whether that's filling in a gap, whether that's a skill gap or a resource gap. Your goals should excite you, right? They should make you want to do what you need to do because they're getting you closer to something, or they're moving your family closer to something. They're moving you closer to the next promotion in your career, or they're moving you closer to the next level of clients in your business. Your goals are things that you are disciplined enough to have motivation and consistency in doing so that you can get closer to achieving it. So that is what your goal should do, even when it's inconvenient. You're postponing and saying no to girls' trips because you know what? You have something that you need to do that weekend, right? Or that week that will get you closer to achieving your goals. And you're going to do that instead. Or maybe it's a boys' trip, a guys' trip. You're saying, no, guys, I cannot go out because I have this meeting and I'm not going to miss it because you know what? This is going to give me the leverage I need to get that next promotion in my career. And so your goal should be things that you are not willing to compromise on not doing because you know that they're going to move you closer to your achieving your ultimate goal. So you push through because it's absolutely necessary. You've built the necessity. And go back to episode 2 again, where I talk about the necessity. The necessity is your why. And without a doubt, and no matter what comes up, you are gung ho towards reaching your goal because your why is that important. And that is why goal setting and planning is so important because it helps you get clear about your goal, right? Even when you write it down, the more and more you begin to dive into it, right? And to investigate and to research, you say to yourself, okay, this is or this is not what I wanted to achieve, and then you get closer to the actual goal you're looking to attain. And that is why goal setting and planning is important. So, what I'm going to share with you next are 6 actions that you can take to achieve your goals without the stress. Absolutely. I'm going to share those 6 things with you, and I'm going to get started now with number 1. The number 1 thing that you can do to take the stress out of goal setting and planning is to develop realistic goals. And I know you're like, Charlene, of course, develop realistic goals. Of course, I'm going to do that. Well, you have no idea how many people fail at developing realistic goals. Like some folks right now are 5 days away from their dream vacation, right? And they're like, oh, I'm gonna lose 10 pounds in 5 days, or I'm gonna get these abs, right? Welcome to this ab show that I'm about to do, right? Because they want to develop those abs in 5 days, right? Now, is that realistic? Because if I research and I go back and investigate, the average person loses maybe 1 to 2 pounds a week. And from, thinking about the abs, if that's a goal in the next 5 days, being able to get abs, the average person loses maybe 1 to 2% body fat a month. And maybe your abs will show up in 2 months, 2 to 3 months, really, right? So developing realistic goals is not just about writing your goal down. It's about understanding and investigating and doing an analysis of what do you have? Do you need resources? What skills gaps do you have? What it is you need and what is the typical time frame that's necessary to attain it, right? This helps you understand not just your goal, but what it takes for you to fill in the gaps so that you can achieve your goal. Okay? So that is what setting a realistic goal is about. Understanding not just the goal, but uncovering the time frame, uncovering your resource gaps, your relationship gaps, any skills gaps that you may have, and saying, these are the things I need to get to my goal. What you may find out is that you may have to, again, take on a smaller goal, right? Because there's maybe so many gaps that you need to fill in before you're actually able to achieve that larger goal. And that's okay, because that is the whole point and the importance of goal setting and planning. You're able to do that and uncover exactly what it is you need to do to reach a specific outcome. So that is goal number 1, developing realistic goals in the first place. Because when you choose realistic goals, you've assessed where you are with your resources and time. You've taken a look at that time frame that it typically takes to achieve your goal, and you're more clear now. And you've asked yourself, is this realistic or not? The second action you can take in goal setting and planning that takes the stress out of it is to break the goal into a journey. Many times we get so stunted and so, fretful of looking at the bigger picture that we can't even see the smaller steps that we need to take in order to even get to our goal. And so, you know what we do? We do nothing. And do you know what choosing to do nothing is? that's your decision. Indecision is a decision. So we don't want that for you, right? We don't want you to get stunted just because you're unable to see how to break your goal down into smaller chunks, right? So breaking your goal into a journey is going to help you actually get there. It's going to help you build and keep that momentum and that rhythm in life as you reach towards that goal. So, and this is probably something many of you have experienced. I know that I have. It's so easy to get upset, right? When you set a goal and you miss it. It's so easy to do that. And we don't want you to have to always get in the habit of doing that, right? We want to get you into the right habit of living, right? Where you're setting goals that are realistic and breaking them down into a journey so that each leg of that journey brings you closer to where you want to arrive, which is at your ultimate goal. Okay? Again, breaking your goals into a journey is going to allow you to build that momentum, but be more clear about what it is you need to do by setting it up each leg at a time and then making each accomplishment each leg at a time. Okay? How do you do this? How do you break your goal into a journey? Easy. By writing it down and creating a plan. Okay? Write down your goals. Write down, again, those gaps that you may have, whether they be skills gaps, resource gaps, or relationship gaps. What do you need? Who are the influencers that you need that can help you along the way? Understanding that is going to help you develop your goals and break them down into a journey. Okay? If you don't have a way to write this down, I have a free download. You can go to my Instagram at Charlene Jefferson or click the link in the show notes for a free download of my Agenda I Am Goals template. Okay, this is a template that's going to get you started in a stress-free method of planning out your goals, whether that's relationship goals, career goals, business goals, or just life goals, right? Even spiritual goals. That is all in my Agenda I Am Goals template. Now, what does agenda stand for? Because this is important. My Agenda I Am Goals template, agenda stands for a goal elevated, nourished, disciplined, and achieved. Because anytime you bring greater awareness to your goals, you've elevated them to the top of your mind, you're able to properly nourish them, right? And give it the right time and attention that they need so that you develop the discipline, the habits around what you need to do to achieve them, right? And so that is what the agenda method is about. And download that for free. If you don't have a way to get started, my Agenda I Am Goals template is a surefire, great way to get you started. So go download that now and get started planning your Q4 because it is not too late to go ahead and start planning Q4. Okay, there's still time to reach a lot of your goals. There's still time to plan. And if nothing else, get ready for Q1 2023 because it's coming as well. Okay, now go download that agenda template. Let me know if you have any questions. Go to my Instagram at I am Charlene Jefferson. DM me with any questions if you have it about the template or about goal setting in general. Make sure that you break your goals into a journey because it's only going to help you see the bigger picture, right? It's going to give you those smaller tasks along the way that gets you closer to achieving that goal one leg at a time. Now, also remember to set progress measurements all around your goals, okay? That is so important because those milestones are important so that you can remember, you know what? I'm on a journey and I'm going to celebrate each milestone that I reach and I'm going to reward myself. And you make sure you do that. My Agenda I Am Goals template allows you to do that, to measure your progress and reward yourself by setting those key milestones. As you reach them, DM me and let me know, oh my God, I achieved this, Charlene. Hey, let me be your cheerleader. I'll do it. All right, so that's the first two, right? Set realistic goals, break your goals into a journey. All of these methods or actions are things you can do to take the stress out of goal setting and planning. All right. Now, what is action 3? Measure your success. I just talked about this. Measure your progress is so important because, again, it's going to let you know where you are with things, right? And for some of us, we're so scared to check out progress because we think we're not where we need to be. Well, guess what? Maybe you are. And as you measure it, you're able to clearly understand if you are, in fact, where you need to be and where you need to course correct if you're not. What improvements you need to do in your planning. What maybe you need to adjust a goal. You just never know. But by measuring your progress, you'll be able to clearly identify what it is because you're understanding and you can see your progress towards reaching that goal. One of the things I will say about measuring your progress is that it's going to help you get more discipline because if you are seeing progress in your goals and you're course correcting as you need to, then you're like, oh my gosh, you're consistently doing the right things all the time and you're creating that habit, right? Of doing what's necessary, the right thing that's necessary to get you towards your goal. And all of a sudden now you're more motivated because of the discipline that came before that. You've seen the fruits of doing this consistently, and now you're more motivated to do that every day. Wake up no matter what, with grit and tenacity, pushing through to reach your goal, to get one more leg of your journey complete. Okay? So that is why it's so important to measure your progress. So set up that routine, right? And start tracking your progress. And if you need help, use my agenda, I am goals template. It's easy, simple for you to write down your goals and measure your progress. So go download that now in the show notes. Now, what is action 4? That will take the stress out of goal setting and planning. Action 4 is to ask for help. It's just that simple. Ask for help. I don't know why, as we get older, it's so hard for us to ask for help. I guess as kids too, it was kind of hard to ask for help because, when I think about the little ones I'm around, sometimes it can get a little bit, hard. They don't want to ask for help because they're trying to build that autonomy. I get it. Yes, you're grown. Yes, but there are some people who can make your journey a lot easier just because you asked for help. Because again, we talk about, maybe there's a skills gap that you have, or maybe there's a relationship that you don't have, but you know someone who does. And then they can put in a good word for you. And all of a sudden, here's another new budding opportunity for you. All of that requires you to ask for help. Sometimes, asking for help can simply save you a lot of stress, a lot of headache, and also a lot of time. So ask for help when you need it. It is completely okay. And more than likely, it's going to bring you greater success. Okay? And quite frankly, it's completely normal to need help. Remember, this is a journey, and when I think about, legs of a race, right? There are people there with water bottles as people are running the race to make sure they can get a little bit of, of hydration. Or there may be someone there who's, handing them the next baton, so they can go the rest of the way. You need help just like them. This is a journey. Your agenda, your goals are a journey. Okay. So you will need help along the way. As a matter of fact, I don't know one entrepreneur, I don't know one career person, CEO who didn't need help or didn't ask for help, who has been successful. All of us have asked for help and because we surely needed it. Absolutely we have. So ask for help. Don't be afraid to ask for help. It is not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of clarity. It's a sign of understanding who you need, what resources you need, what relationships you need, what gaps you need to fill so that you can get toward your goal, okay? So ask for help if you need to. Don't be afraid to use your resources. Step 5, or I should say action 5, really, right? Well, action 5 is course correct or pivot when needed. All right. I talked about that a little bit up in some of the other actions, but this is completely okay. I know sometimes we get so scared because we set a goal and oh my God, we're not going to accomplish it. Well, why are you not going to accomplish it? Sometimes the goal does no longer, doesn't serve us any longer, right? For example, if it's an old goal, perhaps you've evolved, right? You've learned something new, and all of a sudden that goal just doesn't make sense for you anymore, right? It doesn't serve you. So you need to adjust or modify it, and that's perfectly fine. Adjust the goal as you need to, modify it as you need to, because the more and more we grow and evolve, the more knowledge we consume, the more experiences we live out, our perspective broadens, we change. And guess what? That goal is impacted. What we need to get to that goal is also impacted. So adjust the goal, modify it, get rid of it if it makes sense. It has to serve you. That's the point. Your goal should serve you. And everything you do should serve that goal as well. So course correct or pivot if you need to. All right. The sixth action that you can take is to develop a growth mindset. Now, this is big. This is major because a lot of us look at failure. We won't even start because we're thinking about failure, right? We freak out. We're like, oh my God, no, I don't do it. I'm not going to do it because I might fail. A growth mindset allows you to look at failure differently. You look at failure as an opportunity to learn, okay? Failure is an opportunity to learn something you didn't know before. And it gives you an opportunity to go back and do the same thing, but differently, right? With more knowledge and more understanding because you've learned now what didn't work. So you can go and you can do it better and succeed. So with that said, developing that growth mindset, because even if you do not reach your goal, you will continue to grow, okay? Now, sometimes the failure can be a blessing. Has anyone experienced that? Like you were like, oh my God, this did not go the way I planned it to go. I'm such a failure. Then all of a sudden you realize that was the greatest blessing you ever had in your life. I've been there, and I'm like, oh my God, I failed at something, and then I'm like, oh, that was actually a blessing. So I think I was talking to a friend today where we were talking about some setbacks being set ups for success. And this could be the case, but you have to have that growth mindset. You have to be able to see failure as an opportunity and not a roadblock, okay? And not a pitfall and not somewhere you get stuck, okay? That is not what failure is. The growth mindset tells us differently, okay? Why do we want to develop a growth mindset? Because you will have learned an important lesson even if you have failed. If you have a growth mindset, failures are silver tints and clouds of doubt. Failures are successes turned inside out if you have a growth mindset about those things, right? You get to choose how you look at failure. If you develop a growth mindset around failure, you can still win in the situation. You can still grow, you can still learn and achieve great success, okay? Because these are valuable life lessons that you're going to learn along this journey that you otherwise may not have learned, okay? So this is all going to help you along your journey one way or another. The other thing about failure is don't think of failure as the end. It does not have to be the end all be all for life. Remember, these are moments. Again, growth mindset, learn from the moment, right? Understand what you need to take from it. Learn and then apply it the next go round, whether you course correct or pivot. Apply what you've learned, apply that knowledge, okay? And try again if you want to. Remember again, this is a journey. Each goal, each task is a leg of that journey, okay? Live and you learn about it, all right? On this journey, we live, we learn, and we do better because we know better, all right? No matter where you are in life or what goals you set, it is always more important to grow and become stronger than it is to just achieve your goals that are on the list. Don't feel bad that you don't achieve all of the goals. I have goals on my list that I wanted to achieve for 2022, and I'm not going to achieve all of them. And I'm okay with that because the goals that I have achieved have been pretty darn epic, okay? And I'm excited and thrilled about them. And everything else, I'm looking at it for 2023. If it works into those plans, great. If it doesn't, that's okay too because I do believe what God has for me is for me. So, with that said, don't get all twisted about you not achieving all of your goals on your list. Heck yeah, it feels great if you do, but sometimes that's just not the case, and that is okay. Always think, did I grow from this? Did I learn from this? Did I get stronger? Did I get better? And I bet you can say yes to at least one of those questions. And if you can, then there was success involved anyway. Okay? So, with that said, how can you improve your habit of living? Through goal setting and planning without the stress with those 6 actions I just gave you. Remember, step 1, set realistic goals. Step 2, break your goals into a journey. Step 3, measure your progress. Step 4, ask for help. Step 5, course correct or pivot if you need to. And step 6, develop a growth mindset. Now remember, I have the perfect stress-free download for you called the Agenda I Am Goals template. If you need to get started on goal setting for Q4, it's not too late. Download that template right in the show notes. Go ahead and get started. Head over to my Instagram at I am Charlene Jefferson. Ask me any questions you need to ask me in my DMs about your goals. Let me help you. Now, go to that link in the show notes, download that template, and get started with your planning. So, I want you to remember something. A goal without a plan is just a wish. I'm going to say that again. A goal without a plan is just a wish. I know that you want more for yourself in your life, your career, and business. That all starts with planning and goal setting. Get your agenda in order and get a clear mind about what it is you want to achieve on this journey. Okay? Now, if this all is frightening to you and you need assistance like deep diving and uncovering your true goals and the steps or actions you need to take to achieve those goals, I invite you to my one-on-one coaching program where I'm offering the first session for free. That's right. I believe in this program so much that the first session is on me. So click the link in the show notes. Go ahead, complete your free habit audit, and schedule your free strategy session with me. All right? We can get you started goal planning for Q4 or getting you ready for Q1 2023. In addition, if you want to learn more about success and how to achieve success and sustain it, then register for one of my upcoming webinars, 6 Steps to Success. There's 3 sessions. Find one that works best for your time frame. Now, in these sessions, we're going to learn the foolproof way to achieve success, right? We're going to learn from other people's mistakes, essentially. I'm going to spill all the tea on what the world's most successful people are doing and have done to achieve and sustain success. Go ahead and you register because I know you want to be successful. I know you want to improve in your career. I know you want to elevate your business and your life. And this webinar is going to be a way for you to do that. We're going to learn through other people's failures. We're going to capture some nuggets on how to get out of the rut that you may be in because of your fear. And you're not experiencing the true fulfillment you like to in your career. Or maybe you're starting a new business and you are just not sure how to get started. Maybe you're trying to work on this relationship, on your relationship with your significant other, or maybe your relationship with others at work. And the more you feel like you work on that relationship, the more burnout you experience, the more distant the relationship seems to get. And guess what? It only leads to you being more frustrated. That's no way to live. With that said, head on over to the link in the show notes, register for one of those 6 Steps to Success webinars because you're going to get those nuggets that you need to elevate in your life, your career, or your business, okay? Thank you so much for joining me today. It has been my pleasure talking to you about one of the most important things in adulthood, as well as high achievers, which is goal setting and planning. I hope you take the stress out of it by leveraging the tools and resources that I've shared with you to improve your habit of living. Now, high achievers, get into the habit of living, and I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you so much for listening to the Habit of Living podcast. If this episode resonated with you, please share it with a friend so we can grow our community. It would also mean the world if you left a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. If you want to connect one-on-one, follow me on Instagram at I am Charlene Jefferson or on LinkedIn at the link in our show notes. See you in the next episode.